Alicante, 5th of November 2011, and the start of the toughest sailing race in the world. 6 brave teams got a royal send-off as they bade farewell to friends, family and supporters. Set out to do battle with the elements and each other, but nobody could possibly have foreseen what lay ahead.
We just came out of this huge wave and Andy rotated his ankle badly and on landing and broke it.
We came off the back of a wave, the boat fell, it was pretty much weightless feeder. Obviously all the rigging loads up when you do that, and something let go and there was a loud bang.
The rig's bust in 2 places. Cape Town's a long way away right now.
It felt like we just ran into thick mud, you know, and at the same time, big shout from on deck, you know, check the bow, feels like we've got a lot of water in there.
Two teams were forced to retire before the fleet had left the Med. For the remaining 4, it was decision time about the route across the Atlantic. Groupama, the only team to head south, a decision that cost them dearly.
For the crew, we were pretty happy with ourselves, since we had a 140-mile lead. I think it was probably a record for the biggest distance between first and second. Afterwards, it was probably also a record for the biggest loss.
La pelea que tuvimos con Puma fue muy interesante.
The battle with Puma was very interesting and plenty of fun, but it was also a great opportunity for us to find out more about our boat.
Puma was the first team around Fernando de Noronha, but their delight was short-lived.
Reached along 23 knots of breeze, reef, jib, staysail, and the mast fell over the side. To say that we're disappointed would be the understatement of the century.
Mike went forward, we surfed down a wave and he just got washed back, knocked the front tooth out, he's opened up his side of his lip.
But it was Team Telefonica who held both boat and crew together and charged into Cape Town well ahead of the competition.
Bueno, estamos súper contentos, ¿no? La verdad que esto nos pone en una posición estupenda para...
We're super happy. The truth is, there is no better way to fight for overall victory than winning the first leg. The boat worked really well, as have the team. Everything went really well. I'm very proud of all of them.
Orgulloso de todos ellos y de todo el equipo de tierra. La verdad que ha ido muy bien.
What a leg that was, and now welcome Molo to Cape Town and the V&A Waterfront import race set against the amazing backdrop of Table Mountain. The fleet now is intact and I'm joined here by Peter Lester. Great to see all 6 boats back ready to roll for this V&A Waterfront import race, and I think we could be in for a thriller.
Certainly, it's great to welcome back the teams that had difficulty in leg 1 of the Volvo, but the 2 broken masts on Puma and Abu Dhabi, they have new masts in the boat, and of course a mammoth job by Sanya to get the bow repaired.
Well, this is Cape Town, the famous World Cup Cape Town Stadium there, and this is the edge of Table Mountain looking south down along the 12 Apostles, and of course Cape Town has been welcoming round the world sailors since 1973, and the latest visitors are of course the 6 boats currently in the Volvo Ocean Race. It's quite one of those non-disappointing places to be. It's my first visit here and I've been absolutely stunned by the beauty of it as we circle again round Table Mountain and see this port revealed. Peter, it's been a thrill to be here.
It certainly has, and the vista, the outlook around the bay is absolutely fantastic, and it's set up today with the beautiful sailing conditions. We're in for a ripper of an inshore race.
What a view these guys would be getting here from Lion's Head, looking out over the bay. This is Table Bay, there is Table Mountain, and this is the current state of play in the Volvo Ocean Race 2011-2012. There we've got Team Telefonica leading by just 2 points over Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, and then Groupama sailing team making up the only 3 boats that actually finished the leg. The others all arriving here on ships and now, of course, desperate for points. Mike Sanderson on the newly rebuilt Sanya. How are you feeling going into this one?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting old day. Obviously, you know, the priority for us is to make sure we're 100% ready for tomorrow. It's you know, it would be a tragedy to come out of today without a bowsprit or something. So we got to keep her in one piece and try and have a good solid race.
Yeah, but Mike, you're talking about a conservative approach, but once the gun goes, it's never like that on the racetrack. You know, how do you control your emotions? You've had a horrendous couple of weeks, really.
Yeah, we have, and it's you know, it's even just without getting too deep and meaningful, it's pretty special even to be out here now, boat in one piece. You know, the shore crew and the boat builders and stuff have done an amazing job to get the boat back in one piece. So we feel privileged to be here. You know, only a month ago we thought we were seriously in a good chance of having to ship the boat to Abu Dhabi. So just to be here and in the hunt, it'll be a lot of fun, Pete.
Cheers, Mike. We wish you a lot of luck.
Cheers, thank you. We'll need it.
Chris Nicholson, it's blowing a bit out there today. What's the biggest challenge there? The bit of a shortage of crew?
Shortage of crew, but also the breezes we've seen 10 knots and then we've seen 23 knots of wind. So going to be massive gear changes on board the boat to cope with that difference in breeze. So I'd say, you know, we're going to have the wrong sail up at times, and then at other times that it'll be perfect. So, you know, you want to be flexible coming into this day.
Now, Nico, going into the first mark, it could be all on, a downwind start. Bottom mark approach, what's the strategy at that first mark?
You know, strategy for us is to keep it clean. You know, like if you're in there top three, you know, you're going to have more chances to fight it out for the lead at a later stage. It's keep your nose clean, do a nice rounding, settle down and get into the rhythm of the race, you know. Having said that, we'll push it in there, but we'll push it in there, keeping ourselves clean.
Well, we wish you well and good luck. Thanks,
Cheers,
Nico.
guys. Cheers.
Ian Walker, we were listening to you earlier on today saying that you'll be giving it all in this import race, but there has to be some kind of balance. How are you going to approach it?
Well, we just had a little bit of a chat about amongst the crew on that. I think we're going to just race absolutely as hard as we can. But if we see a situation arise where kind of, you know, 50-50, should I stick my bow in there? Maybe we'll just take the conservative choice, which you might not do in another situation. But essentially, we'll be, you know, it's a perfect day out here, Martin. We've got 17.5 knots of wind, a little bit more, I think, to my left. So I think we're in for a treat.
Yeah, you've got the new rig in the boat. How's it feeling?
Well, it's still up, so that's good. The mast feels good. It's all measured in. It's actually half a kilo lighter than the other one. The rig tune's good. We've done 3 or 4 days sailing on it, so I think we're as confident in this one as we were prior to the start in Alicante.
We wish you all the best, Ian. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy the race, everyone.
Through the marvellous magic of virtual eye, we're flying from Cape Point, heading south to north along the Atlantic seaboard, heading towards Cape Town with all its absolutely amazing landmarks. That's the Cape Town Stadium on the V&A Waterfront, and where we are looking down at the base for this V&A Waterfront inshore race. And out there on the water today is our commentator, Jerry Kirby. Jerry, give us an idea of what you're looking at out there.
There's great pressure everywhere on the race course right now, Martin, and you can see everyone's figured out what sail they're going to use for the start, which is a downwind start, and it's absolutely incredible visually, as Cape Town always is when the sun's out and the wind is in.
What about wind speed, wind direction? I mean, we're seeing plenty of whitecaps and flogging sails out here on board Puma at the moment.
Yeah, right now it's a southwesterly breeze. I don't have wind instruments with me, but it looks to be, you know, low 20s, so it should be a nice, nice fast-paced race today.
On board Abu Dhabi here with their new rig in there, and when it's blowing like this, there's got to be some concerns, Peter, because you've got to have faith, but you've got to have also some worries.
Yeah, but they're racers, and they're out here to try and to win. And although Ian Walker is very conscious that he was going to be conservative, once they get racing, they're all racers. They want to win the race. The conditions are absolutely perfect. We're going to see these boats at their max, fully powered up. I think this will be a beauty, Martin.
Jerry, when you're watching a race like this, how much are you wishing that you were back out there, or have you kind of got through that now?
No, I think if you've ever raced a Volvo 70, you never get through that. This is, I definitely wish I was on a boat today. This is going to be a real slugfest. It'll be fun to watch.
We talk about risk and reward. I mean, it's a pretty difficult equation, really, Jerry, in terms of how much you protect the boat, but how much you need to win to get the points.
Yeah, it was funny. I talked to Kenny a little bit on the way down to the boat this morning, and he, you know, they lost a rig. It was a big setback, but once that gun goes, if there's a spare point on the table, I don't think they'll hold back. They're going to be flat out aggressive. You know, I think you're in a different position if you're one of the top 3 boats right now, but you can't be stupid. But once the gun goes, all these guys are top competitors. They'll be pushing as hard as they can.
Okay, now here's the race course out for Cape Town for this V&A Waterfront Import race. Peter Lester, give us a little bit of a look around this.
Well, a downwind start, and they'll roar out to Mark 1, and they've got a gate there. They come round back to the start-finish area. Then we're off on a beam reach over to the right-hand side and back to the start area again, and 2 laps, twice round Martin. Lots of manoeuvres. It's going to keep the crew awfully busy.
Well, we talk about the crew being kept busy. The issue, of course, with these boats is that there are only 10 of them, only 10 crew on board, and really, what would you normally want on a 70-footer, a 70-foot Grand Prix ocean racer flying around in 20-plus knots? 10's not enough.
Well, no way. But and essentially, these boats don't. Where the crew restriction has come in, they don't have grinders. The crew are doing the grinding. So to answer your question, Martin, you really should have 16 people on board.
So they're all going to be, well, and they're all going to be doing the work of 2 or 3 people, all doing 1 or 2 jobs. And Jerry, out there, the closing speeds on these boats, just watching them flying around the track now, I mean, you've got to make some pretty fast decisions.
Yeah, I mean, that's ever since the advent of canting keels and the boat speeds have gone up. Obviously, crossing situations happen at a much faster pace. So tacticians have to be really on their toes. They don't have a lot of time to watch things develop.
Okay, 2 minutes to the start now. What can you see as developing as a tactic amongst these guys?
Well, the start's big, and you know, getting off the line clean and with good pressure and clean air could be the telling moment. And I think the next big moment for me will be at Mark 1, where they'll have to get their Genicas off and get a clean Mark rounding. But look for plenty of action in this next minute and a half leading up to the start. And Jerry, you're looking at the line. What end do you like? Is there any bias on the line?
There's a little bias. It looks like it may be pin end favored, but really, I think if you're a tactician right now, you're trying to figure out where you'll be on that final jibe into the bottom mark. So I think you're going to see a bit of jockeying for that pin end position.
Okay, inside a minute now. Just very quickly, Jerry, the breeze, we're looking, when we were talking to Chris Nicholson before, he was talking about that it was up and down a bit, meaning sail selection later on could be vital. How solid is it, and how important is the sail changing going to be? I think we just might have lost Jerry momentarily then.
Well, Martin, we're really into the last, coming up to the last 30 seconds. We can see the boats reaching along the line, looking to get off the line full speed with just coming up 20 seconds to go. So it's about speed build, time on distance, and of course, all coupled with that, they've got to get a Genica up. So we're on board Camper as they get ready to pull the trigger, coming up to 10 seconds or 8 seconds to go on the line. And we can see Group Armour to leeward of Camper. Nicholson brings bow down. Telefonica have got a beauty at that windward end. They've got their Genica already set. Puma with the red Genica. Camper trails Puma. Group Armour. The boats are actually down towards the leeward end here, are holding off putting their flying sails up. Now we can see hoists, but look at Telefonica. They are off.
They are off. Jerry, are you back with us? Now we'll try and reconnect with Jerry, but look at the speed these boats are going away at already. This is, well, it's what we expected, isn't it? This is
yes,
the breeze,
it is.
and these are just fantastic machines.
Well, who gets the jump? Telefonica to windward, Puma just to leeward of Telefonica. Then we come back to Camper, Group Armour down to leeward Sanya, and right down at the pin end here we've got Abu Dhabi. Now Abu Dhabi could be in a strong position there, Martin. They got clear air, and we could see a little bit of breeze developing just forward of Abu Dhabi, and if they can sneak into that, watch them, they'll shoot ahead. Look, Abu Dhabi's starting to accelerate with the yellow Jenica. Telefonica is flying up at that windward end.
Look at Telefonica go. Well, they're all absolutely hurtling down here, and just enough in the foreground there's young Adam Khalid from the first Emirati sailor in the Volvo Ocean Race on board Abu Dhabi there, and what this must be like for him. I guess you have to kind of just, there've been all the nerves at the start, now they're settling into this race, but well, they're just absolutely hurtling down there. But what a jump from Telefonica.
Yeah, it all looks good at the windward end at the moment, though. We can see Telefonica, Puma, Camper, they're in pressure up at that windward end. Now, the key will be how close are they to laying it through to the Mark 1, and then what's the manoeuvre at Mark 1.
Right,
great start by Telefonica.
Well, that's a terrific start by but the man who is actually leading the Volvo Ocean Race overall at the moment. That's Andrew Cape there, the navigator on board Telefonica, and I mean, they're kind of trying to make amends, I guess, because they were dead last in their home port of Alicante, which was a terribly grim way to get their campaign underway. But now here we are, we've got Ike Martinez. He just, as you say, pulled the trigger coming off the line, and he's being hounded by Puma.
It was a wonderful start by Telefonica. Ike Martinez got a beautiful start, and now he has got a good lead, a couple of lengths over Puma.
Jojo!
They're flying down towards the first mark.
What a backdrop, look at that. That's Devil's Peak on the left, Table Mountain, so aptly named. Got a bit of a tablecloth over it as we see our chopper going by, and here we are on board Puma. Ken Reid, well, we heard him say that you know, he was going to, for the first time in his life, actually confess to being quite cautious. Doesn't look like he's being very cautious at the moment.
Well, good, plenty of pressure coming there. Look behind, up behind Camper, we can see the white caps developing. Now, I think...
Oh, Jerry, we got you back. Good man.
Yeah,
now. Okay, well, what do you make of this? We've just been awestruck.
Oh, I tell you, that was a great move by Telefonica Puma. You know, I was thinking that this starboard tack would have some advantage, but those guys just blew it away by hitting the line at full pace and taking a big puff and just splitting from everyone. Great start to the beginning of this race.
Well, they must be getting close to a jibe. Boats setting up for a jibe. Now, both boats short-handed, so Puma goes into their jibe as Telefonica matches. Who's going to come out of this clean? Camper also jibing. Setting themselves up on the lay line to Mark 1. Ken Reid there urging the crew to get the Jenica on the new side.
Well, we're watching the jibe now on virtual eye, and we're seeing a 63-metre lead there to Telefonica. Jerry, how's the line that they're taking looking for these three boats at the lead heading towards that top mark, that first mark?
They're going to lay that mark easily, and so it'll be Telefonica and Puma with a nice lead on the rest of the boats. Camper's in a big puff right now, so they'll be right on top of Puma by the time they get to the mark.
This wonderful backdrop of Cape Town, and this is, well, it's one of the great places to race yachts, and now is that...
Now, Martin, enjoy this bottom mark, it's going to be all on. Puma have, their Jenica is off, down comes Telefonica. They're coming into the first mark, it's a gate mark, so there's a left and right option. We can see early takedowns on the two leading boats. Camper were holding on with their Jenica a little longer. See, Camper here are coming in, Martin, with, this is crew work, though. What?
This is not a
Nicholson
on the
here,
other two boats
Nicholson, though, Martin, is relying that his crew work will be stronger than both Telefonica and Puma. They've done a later takedown, and that has meant that Kemper have come from third through to possibly first position as they come into this bottom mark.
Jerry? Jerry, are you with us there?
So
no, we've
we're
lost you at the moment. On board. We're on board.
That's Puma.
On board Puma here with Ken Reid
so
at the
Ken
wheel.
Reid's going to be
coming
first
around
round.
the mark, first round. Well, clean first round. Well, there's a bit of a change. I guess that was positioning and crew work there. That this is the man who was going to be conservative in this race.
Well, it was a good manoeuvre. He came in, did a pretty conservative takedown, and it's Puma.
Telefonica held off Camper there coming around. All good crew work in the end, and you can see the battle they were having there in a breeze like this, trying to get that Jenica down. We've seen Camper close the game up a bit, but you need more people basically when it's blowing like this.
And it was Camper that followed in. They looked like they'd gained enough overlap to possibly be ahead at Mark 1, but it was Ken Reid showing great composure. He set up. He's got about a 3 boat length lead over Telefonica.
Groupama now coming round in 5th spot, and that'll leave Sanya to just be picking up the tail there on board here with Groupama, and it's they'll be pretty unhappy with that, and they're going to jibe away and try and find something out on the other side of the course while everybody else is still heading off on port tack. So there we are, Mike Sanderson.
Well, they're on the upwind now.
On the upwind. And I guess, Jerry Kirby, if you're back with us now.
Can you hear me, Martin?
Yeah, we can, Jerry.
Yeah, well, I'll just have to explain to you, riding around in this cat, it's like being on the back of a Paris-Dakar motorcycle. So, you know, you guys have done a great job. Everything you're talking about is exactly what's going on. I tell you, Puma did a great job, and Kenny, true to his word, said he wasn't going to back down just because they had a failure in leg 1. He's hungry to get points, and he just showed it on that first run.
So how's it looking there? I mean, with that breeze, I mean, they talk about the wind kind of being pretty solid in this part of the world. It has that look to it.
Yeah, you're right about that. There aren't a lot of holes in this breeze. There are some puffs here and there, but it's a pretty even pressure all over the course, so it'll be good racing. You won't see somebody sail off and hit a big hole like they had in Alicante.
So Jerry, looking up course, is it a true upwind? The downwind looked to be pretty square to the wind. Is this a true upwind for the boats?
Yeah, it's a true upwind. You know, Groupama's split to the left, Puma's to the right. So we'll see. I mean, earlier when they were practicing this beat, a lot of the boats were working the left-hand side of the course. But right now, Puma and Telefonica are off on the right side, and it looks like the best pressure is on the right side. So.
Okay, we were just looking on board Puma before, and you were talking about people working hard, and we could see the name Kirby on the back, which happens to be your boy Rome. What's he been telling you about how they coped on Puma with you know, the battle they had, losing the rig, and then having to, you know, get their spirits back up?
You know, it's tough. They have high expectations, and that whole first leg, it was a great battle with Telefonica, and when the rig comes down, that's a gut check. You know, he is the nipper on the program. But I had dinner with Brad Jackson and Rhino in Rome last night. Brad's a veteran. You got a bunch of hard cases over there. They'll be fine.
Well, looking at Rome now, is he just 22?
Yeah, I think he just got out of diapers.
Well, like you said before, Jerry, at least he's got the sense to be at the back of the boat instead of the front.
Yeah, he's a smarter kid than his dad, but it's fun to watch.
Okay, now we're back up with back on board with Ian Walker on. So now we're on. I'm just getting confused by this blurry picture I'm looking at the moment, which is the rear camera on board Telefonica. And this is a pretty good race for them, Pete. I mean,
yeah,
they've got
it is,
second
Martin.
now.
And now the reason these boats are hanging on this group of 3 that are coming out to the right, it's a little bit longer on this tack than on port than starboard. As we look there at Tony Ray on the main.
Tony Ray on the main there.
So Kemper are just thin on the hip of Telefonica, and Telefonica looked like they were very thin on the hip of Puma. And I would expect if once Puma decides to tack, I would look at probably Kemper coming in on the left-hand side. We can see there Stu Bannatyne looking, but it looks good for Puma as they punch out. Beautiful conditions.
Well, Puma beautifully positioned, as you would expect from a cat like Puma. They positively pounced as they were coming around that first mark. Just were a little bit slicker, had a little slight in terms of crew work, dropping that Jenica and getting in there, and they just managed to sneak inside Telefonica, and now Ken Reid is really sort of accelerating away. Now we're on board with Abu Dhabi, looking at through the hatch, and this is the media man on Abu Dhabi, Nick Dana, who's giving us these shots, and
you can just see
how the confusion is down
what do we
there.
got? We've got you know, the Jenica down below. That's 500 square meters of sail, and it certainly fills up a lot of the cabin. And of course that sail probably needs to be packed at some stage. So we've got Abu Dhabi tacking upwind and to windward of Group Armagh, and then down to leeward of that 3. This is the group that went on the left-hand side, and Sanya. So there's a bit of a split. There's Abu Dhabi really put it right on the face of Group Armagh. So Ian Walker, who was talking about being conservative, well, he just really has put a classic covering move, a match racing move there on Frank Camas.
Well, this is a big split here. This the way that this fleet has spread out across Table Bay. Jerry, what do you make of this split? Can you see from your vantage point who might be right and who might be wrong?
Yeah, right now I'm at the weather mark, and it's been much stronger pressure on the side that Telefonica, Camper, and Puma have gone. And I think they'll have a safe lead going around, although at the moment Abu Dhabi and Groupama are slightly lifted. So it'll be interesting as they come together at the top mark, but right now it looks like the right side is paid off for the 3 lead boats.
Well, Puma's certainly looking very, very nice here. Marmostro with Ken Reid at the helm. Guest on board there. What a thrill for these guys. We talk about this being, you know, the Formula One of racing. Well, who gets a ride with Michael Schumacher like these people are, or more current parlance, I guess Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel. This is the waterborne version of that, and they get to be in the thick of it here today.
Tack coming up here, Martin, as Puma must be getting close to the ley line, the starboard ley line, so they tack. So Puma has tacked. That's the first tack of the second leg on the upwind. Telefonica, I thought Telefonica did a fabulous job, you know, of surviving thin on the hip of Puma. Now, where Telefonica attacking, they've just gone slightly beyond Puma and then tacked. That would indicate to me they're quite close to the starboard ley line to the top mark. Camper have actually had to dip.
Do a little dip.
So they're quite close to Telefonica. But we know that Telefonica was pretty close to that ley line. I would expect to see Chris Nicholson tack also onto starboard. We can see there with the virtual animation, the yellow line in the distance would indicate the top mark. So Kenny Reid has picked a beautiful ley line. Look at that, that's a great ley line there, Martin.
Jerry, watching Puma with your boy on board, heading up there. They're looking good.
Yeah, right now it looks relatively strong position. They're coming in on starboard. Although Abu Dhabi and Groupama are lifted at the moment, it still looks like they'll have a safe. The positions won't change at the top mark, but the breeze has moderated just a touch. It looks like it's down about 3-5 knots less than the start.
Now, before we have the benefit of being able to see the pictures that Jerry's not seeing, but before, Jerry, we were looking at on board the down below, Peter, where we could see that 500 square meters of sail. They've got to get that thing back up.
Yeah, they do. So that means the forward hand and the mid-bowman have got to go down below and repack the sail. So we look here, we're on board Puma. You can see the port hand boats coming over. The first of those will be Abu Dhabi, then Groupama with the green sails. So it's a good lead for Puma.
Puma powered by Berg Propulsion with a 90-meter lead over the Spanish boat Telefonica. And there's that, courtesy of Virtual Eye, there's that top mark. Jerry, they're all closing in pretty quickly on this one.
Yeah, Puma's really in great shape. Telefonica, Groupama, it's very similar speeds, but you know, they'll have an exciting go at the rest of this race. It'll be interesting to see how everyone does. They have quite a bit of time to pack that downwind kite, but it's brutal. They're so short-handed. There's only one or two guys below working on it.
Ken Reed at the wheel of Mamostro, swings it round. And this is all going to be just work for the crew. It's funny, isn't it? He did say, you know, that well, I guess the safest place to be, if you're trying to be safe, there's no safer place than being in front.
A bit of action here, Martin, at Mark II. We could see it was Abu Dhabi, looked like they were dipping. Telefonica second at Mark II. And Abu Dhabi have done very nice work coming over from that left-hand side. They're right on the transom of Kampa. So Kampa will be third, followed by Abu Dhabi and then Sanya.
Well, the split paid off certainly there for Abu Dhabi. They were trailing by quite a while, and they've really come back in on Azam, the Arabic name for the boat, means determined. Well, they were determined to do a lot better, and they certainly have done that. They've really closed it up, those boats that went out on the port tack from the bottom mark.
It looked like it paid quite nicely. Certainly for Abu Dhabi, they got right back into Kampa.
Well, the game's closed up again. All 6 boats now around that top mark, and
now
the game did close up then, because there was a big gap there.
Now they're heading off now on this 2-sail reach, a blast reach over to the 3rd mark. So they don't need the flying sails or the downwind sails. It's really pretty well a 2-sail reach, where they just come around the mark and ease the Genoa, ease the mainsail out. But it's all Puma. Good lead, very comfortable lead for Kenny Reid, and we put that one down, Martin. I thought bottom mark, they got it spot on. He got the ley line right. They did quite a conservative takedown, but more importantly, they had the angle right to that mark, to the first mark.
Some very canny sailing on Puma there, Jerry.
Yeah, you know, it all comes down to that start. It was very, both Telefonica, I mean, they all had the same idea, Camper. But Telefonica got off the line quickest, but Puma did a nice job getting inside on that jibe and then having a much better drop and takedown.
Big square tops on these mainsails. Huge rigs, huge power, and this is where it's really being, the power is really being concentrated here with Puma, with Ken Reid. Enjoying a lead in this V&A Waterfront import race. Obviously, you know, desperate to get into some points after the disappointment of having to withdraw from leg 1.
I think for this leg, and then they'll come around the mark and then go back to the start finishing lining area. 2-sail reach, Martin. It's actually probably 2 of the easier legs.
Well, they'll be taking in a
we
few
will have
deep
some more of that
breaths
downwind stuff to come, which.
Great shot there of the keel, that amazing keel on the Volvo 70. It's swung out there to something like 40 degrees it can cant out to. And there's 5.5 tons on the end of that bulb, giving it that amazing righting moment and a speed. On board with Telefonica, Ike Martinez at the wheel. Great conditions, absolutely perfect.
Well, it was certainly a lovely start by Telefonica. that first mark, it was Puma who did a better jibe and a lovely takedown to take the lead from Telefonica.
Well, we saw gains and losses on the beat. What would be the tactic now, Jerry, do you think, on this downwind? I mean, the overtaking opportunities, maybe?
Well, on this reach, there won't be many opportunities to pass. The next opportunity to pass a boat will be in that downwind leg. And as you can see, Groupama, Abu Dhabi, they got a nice lift on the left-hand side. They had a little less pressure, but they were able to get back into the leaders by going on the left-hand side of the course. So you may see some opportunities for passing on that next beat up.
Great shot. We've just been looking at the most amazing aerial shot of Puma, powered by Berg Propulsion, just setting off on that downwind. The foredeck crew working furiously to try and get the Jenica up, and this is going to be a lot about crew work now.
Well, this part of the race, Martin, is probably really a little bit like follow their leader, but once they go around this the next mark, which will be Mark 4, I think we'll see a bit of action going down to Mark 5. But as they head across, we've got Camper coming round the mark. But you can, and it was Abu Dhabi, they'll be next, Groupama, and then Sanya.
What we call a soldier's course, element of that in these two sail reaches, but it's the downwind that we're waiting for.
So while they're doing really this broad reaching part of the course, that Jenica will be being packed on all the boats down below, ready for the hoist when they come around the next mark.
We're watching the V&A Waterfront import race in the Volvo Ocean Race on the eve of the second leg. A lot of things for these teams to consider, and they've got over the nervy bit of that of the start, and they're settled into the race. The nervy bit being protecting your boat, given that the race starts tomorrow, so there's no time really to do any repairs should anything untoward occur. And I mean, that's it. Risk and reward were the words, weren't they? That you've got to protect your asset, but at the same time you want to get some points.
Well, what was noticeable, Martin, at that second, at the first mark, when it was Puma, Telefonica and Camper, they all really got in a position of being overlapped. But I thought everyone was actually quite conservative in terms of their approach, because perhaps if it was in, you know, in your normal fleet racing scenario, you might have seen a bit of action at that mark, but it did appear as though the crews certainly were reasonably conservative. So here's a sneak going on Puma as they head back towards that Mark 4.
Jerry, are you seeing any speed differences at all? Have you noticed anything that really struck you about the boats, and any differences?
Well, the only thing I could see is I was surprised that Camper wasn't more pressed up on Telefonica, but I wasn't in a position to see the pressure. And as they came away, both Puma and Telefonica looked to get into some big puffs, and they stretched. So it's very hard, you know, when you do have puffy conditions, to compare speeds. You know, you're not in a static racing situation like you would be on a long offshore leg.
So we're at Mark 4, Puma around. Now up goes their downwind sail. Telefonica around second.
Well, just look at the pace of these boats. It's just phenomenal, and they were on board here now with Telefonica, and the way they take off is just extraordinary.
Martin, it's on this leg, I think, that the trailing boats have an opportunity, possibly, although the legs are pretty short. As we look at Camper coming in with Abu Dhabi Racing, just that distinctive bow profile, she looks a little different to the other boats. Chris Nicholson calls us the hoist at Mark 4.
Yeah, Martin and Peter, there's a big philosophical difference in sales going up. We've got Puma with a code 3. They had a beautiful set, but they're ripping off reaching. Telefonica's just now gotten their kite up, and it took quite a few minutes. And they got the A4. Everyone else is going back with their soft sails, but Puma's chosen to go with the A3. Well, sailing much hotter angles.
Yeah, I can see that, Jerry, and it'll be interesting to see how this one develops. We can see there that Camper have actually jibed away as Groupama go for a soft sail as well. Along with, we can see Abu Dhabi Racing have also gone back to their Jenica.
Well, this could be crucial because it certainly in Alicante it was crucial that Abu Dhabi, who won that race, if I remember rightly, they were very canny with the way with their sail selection, and it won them the race.
Certainly managing your inventory. Oh, there's a red flag there on the back of Sanya, so something's gone on there. As we look on Sanya as they put up their Jenica.
Out there. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but
see the red flag there, Martin, on the back. I don't know if it's a battle flag.
Well, it could be a China.
It could be a China flag, but there's certainly.
They are flying a China flag.
That's perhaps what I picked up.
Okay, now are we seeing any change here in as a result of the different options on the sail?
Well, a soft sail that Telefonica have got on over a reaching sail, when we can see there is Telefonica have got right back into this. They're almost bow to bow.
Well, we're looking at virtual saying that the lead has changed.
Yeah, but there is a difference in the sail philosophy. We heard Jerry saying that Puma have gone with a reaching type sail. We can see there, and it's soft. It's quiet there where they are. There's not much wind. So, Jerry, it looks like this is paying dividends for Telefonica over Puma.
Yeah, I mean, Puma took a chance. They had a nice clean set, got the sail out quickly. The drawback is they have to sail a hotter angle. And right now, Telefonica and Camper.
Well, we just lost Jerry there, the bipping noise, but I guess this is a...
But there's a game change again here, Martin. Yeah. With Telefonica, we can see they've got their Jenica on, they've got a staysail in underneath, so they've put on all the sail area they can.
But also, interestingly, we're looking at the track here, and we were watching the tracking of the two yachts of Telefonica, who are sailing a lot higher than the camper boat, which was making a more direct approach towards the bottom mark.
But they've still got a jibe to get in there, Martin.
Yeah.
There's a one and in, a jibe and into the bottom mark, and now Telefonica into their jibe as brings the bow down towards slip footer.
Well, I think we're going to see fairly soon that this has been a huge gain for Telefonica over Ken Reed on Puma.
Yeah, well,
I wonder where Camper are going to sit in this. Jerry, what are you seeing in terms of pressure here?
It's gone quite a bit softer, and so the right now the A4 soft sail is a better choice. You can sail deeper. I think I'm up halfway up the leg, where with Senya right now, I think they have dropped back to third by the time they get to the bottom mark.
It does have that look to it. We're on board looking across to Telefonica, who've now rocketed into the lead, and they've got a lot more pace. Look at that
certainly
thing fly.
They have, and they've left their Genoa hoisted. It is eased, but it's giving them a bit of grunt. But it's Telefonica who have picked this leg from Mark 4 down to Mark 5. They've picked it beautifully to regain the lead.
Well, they're sailing the socks off on
now,
board
what they're doing
boat.
now, Martin, they're just setting up for the bottom mark, because this is probably one of the bigger moments in this inshore race. Setting up, they need a clean bottom mark takedown.
A lot of chatter going on the boat. What are you seeing there, Jerry, out? No, Jerry's just...
Well, it's certainly a big change on this leg of the course. As we you know, this is where the opportunity was, and it's Telefonica who have got into the lead. And when we were looking at virtually, it looked like Camper have also got round Puma. So down comes the downwind sail on Telefonica.
And this is the lack of manpower really telling when they're trying to get that, yeah, those 500 square meters of sail into the boat as cleanly as possible.
Boy, it's a lot.
Oh, it's just an enormous sail for that number of people.
So we're on the second lap, Martin. We've got 2 laps. And it's Telefonica.
So this is lots of shouting.
Nico Martini's just urging his crew to get that Jenica below.
What an amazing display by these guys. I mean, just looking at that shot before of Telefonica absolutely flying down with his counter, it was very much like when they came in with that marvellous backdrop of Table Mountain to win this leg, and the thrill for them of achieving that. Earlier on, I was asking EK Martinet, you know, last into Alicante on the in-port race, and then they won the first leg, and they're showing they really are the form boat at the moment. And you see Telefonica come in, and it was Camper who followed Telefonica, and they've overtaken Ken Reid on Puma to go into second place. Can the Camper boat make any more inroads into this beautifully sailed Telefonica? He's doing a terrific job there, EK Martinet.
Well, that was a great leg by Telefonica. Camper come around. They just pushed a little bit later on the downwind. We can see they're still getting the Jenica out of the cockpit, down that forward down the companionway hatch. So Camper have also sailed round Puma.
See the rocky, rolly bit of the boat as the keel is canted from one side of the boat to the other. Now Ken Reid's turn to come in, and he'll be pretty gutted by that, Jerry, if you're back with us. That is Jerry still on the back of his Paris to Dakar rally motorbike, and this is Puma we're looking at now with that great paintwork and great artwork that they've got on there. But Ken Reid will be disappointed with that. He looked to be in a really commanding position, but still a long way to go.
What it came down to, Martin, was sail selection on that leg.
And we said it was going to be imperative.
The Puma team went with a more of a reaching type sail, whereas Telefonica and Camper had their downwind soft sails on. They could sail a deeper angle, and they took full advantage of that. Abu Dhabi.
Well, I guess also it was significant. I mean, it wasn't just. I mean, it was the sail selection compounded by the fact that where he was on the racecourse, it also went light.
Yeah, it was a little less pressure, which, you know, in terms he was sailing with more of a heavy wind sail, and he was also on the lighter side of the course. So,
the difference in speed there, because we were looking at Telefonica at the same. We're doing 22, 23 knots, and Kenny Reid was just down to like 18, and all he could see was Camper and Telefonica just eating up his lead, spitting it out, and just chasing past them.
But what it shows you, because these boats are so high performance, you know, they are the world's fastest, you know, monohull boats. Yeah. And if you're slightly out of whack with your tune or sail selection, the differences in distance are absolutely huge, and I think that was illustrated on that leg.
Sure was, and Kenny will be kicking himself over that one. On board now with Group Armour, and they're still slightly struggling to hit their straps here. I think, what do you think of what you see? I mean, the boats, there's a sort of evenness. Do you think? Do you feel that there's between the top 5 boats?
I think they are very even, and of that top 5 boats, the one that looks different is actually, I think, Abu Dhabi Racing. She has different sectional shape in the bow, and she looks different, but certainly the 1K boats and look very, very similar.
On board now with Sanier, they're trailing the fleet at the moment. This is the one of the boats that we're into the 3rd generation of these boats with the other 5, but this is the 2nd one. It's had a bit of a revamp. Well, it's had more than a revamp because it's had a complete new bow as well, after hitting something somewhere in the med and having to pull out. great rebuild job they've done to be back on here, and Mike Sanders was saying he had great faith in the boat, but they were kind of hoping to do well in these imports, but when, you know, they'd be better off it was a bit light and fluky, but when it's blowing like this, then this is really showing the pedigree of the third generation boats.
Well, it's probably a miracle that they're even out here, to be honest, given what, a week ago there was a flaming great hole in the, where they cut out the section of the bow where the boat had hit something.
I was talking to him this week, and he said that bow section, when they looked at it, he described it as being like a scene from Pirates of the Caribbean, and also looked like it had a torpedo through it. And if they could have seen the outside of the boat, they'd have probably been jumping in the life rafts rather than trying to limp into shore. But limping they did. They're in the race, and that's the most important thing.
Well, it's amazing that they're here. And so we go back up to the business end with Telefonica, Camper, Puma. Bit of a replay of what they did on the first time they came on the upwind. Coming over towards quite a long port. Did appear as though there was a little bit of skew in the course, and it was a longer port than starboard. But Telefonica, it's a little bit lighter also, Martin.
Yeah.
Now that would be the reciprocal of the downwind. Remember on the downwind, the left-hand side looked a bit light. Well, on the upwind, the left. Camper have actually tacked away. Telefonica continue to extend.
It does look a lot lighter there, doesn't it?
Wouldn't expect Telefonica to go too much further. In fact, I think as we're on board Camper and we look across the Telefonica,
Andy McLean
Telefonica have tacked.
That man there is Mike Paminter, who's for Christmas wants his 2 front teeth, which he lost when he smacked into the deck. There he is, South African at home here. The bowman on board Camper. He's had a huge amount of dental work, the poor boy.
So there's a new sail on the deck.
I would be the last leg.
On board Camper. I guess if they were setting up anything, it would be possibly a code 0, but that 2-sail reach. Now, once they get up to what is going to be the 6th mark, they then do this broad reach again, Martin. So that'll, as you say, it'll be a bit of a soldier's course.
Marching behind.
And,
well, he's
then they come back to the finish. So Telefonica really,
they're holding it, aren't they?
They're looking really strong now, and there's. I thought the big moment would have been as it was on that downwind under Jenica. We did see the lead change. But for Telefonica now, they go up round the top mark again. So it'll be mark 6, over to mark 7, which is the broad reach mark, and then back to the finish.
So great that backdrop, isn't it? There's Lions,
classic,
Lions head on there, and then Table Mountain and Virtual giving us another repeat
even spread of the boats across the course with
Table Bay.
Telefonica right out to windward, right down to leeward. There we've got Group Armour.
Beautiful shot from the chopper. This is that's the dazzle paintwork from the Second World War, when they used to have them as on Camper. Every sail's different, but that sort of that dazzle look that they used as camouflage on the boats in the Second World War. Very clever. I think we might be going to see Andy McLean on board Camper.
What's that? All right, what? Just coming to the top mate for the last time. Telefonica up here. The other guys are tapped away, so got 2 more legs to get into these guys, so see how we go.
Animal's his nickname, not quite sure why. But that's Andy McLean.
Well, haven't you seen the size of him?
Yes.
For goodness sake. Now, Martin, just a little bit with the boats. I mean, we talked 500 square metres of, of downwind sail or Jenica. The mainsails they're using 140 square metres. The Genoa's 175, so they're certainly powered up. Kenton keel, 5.5 tonne of lead hanging off the end of on the bulb.
They're a machine, all right.
They really are a brutal machine, and quick.
And this is upwind speeds here around the 11 knot mark, and Well, as we heard Andrew McLean there saying, you know, we've got 2 more legs to make inroads onto these guys, but it's got to be said, they look really comfortable.
Oh, they do now, Martin,
Telefonica.
and once the boats get round this top mark, it is just 2 broad reaches. And I think it's looking very good. Gee, Telefonica have had a good race. They won the start. They were pretty conservative at that Mark 1 with their takedown. They hung in there on that, really on the upwind, on the first broad reach, but then on the downwind, they pounced. It's a well-constructed race by Telefonica. It's just carrying on the good form that they obviously showed in leg 1.
It's a funny thing, isn't it, when we look back on that leg, and I know that you were listening in to Nikke Martinez talking at the skipper's press conference about their leg, and he described it as simple and uneventful. Behind him, this astonishing carnage is unfolding with boats pulling out, masts breaking, bows falling off, and these guys are just here on the Spanish boat.
Yeah, he just said the first leg there wasn't a lot of spectacular stuff going on, and they were happy that their maintenance was good. Obviously, they're fast, and I think we've seen that today.
Well, they said he was saying that he learned a lot about the boat. Well, I mean, what do you think they would have learned that would have pleased them in particular?
Oh, about balance and the sail selection over the ranges of the sails. That's what they'd have learned. Where the crossovers are for the sails in the offshore. But and of course that will probably be one of the areas that the 2 boats that broke Mars and Sanya, they haven't gained that knowledge, whereas Telefonica and Kemper, you know, they learn about the crossovers of the sails and how the boats react in different sea states. So Kemper have tacked.
Am I right in thinking that, maybe it was just an illusion, but it looked to me like Puma actually pulled in a little bit on Kemper?
Yeah, I think Puma have got back at Kemper, and it looks to me as though Telefonica have actually extended on Kemper on this leg. Gee, Ian Walker, Puma tacked right to windward of Abu Dhabi Racing, so to get out of the turbulent wind, and of course you got Kemper also sitting up there on the face of Abu Dhabi.
Well, it's still pretty tight, isn't it? It's tight. Maybe, you know, maybe there's still something to play for in this. Maybe there's still some changes. What do you think?
No, I don't know.
Are there any more opportunities,
to
or
me,
is it soldiers all the way?
I think this is starting to settle out. It looks to me as though the order that they're in now will probably be the finishing order with only 2 broad reaches to go. Yeah. So Telefonica on the ley line, and then they're stacked up with Kemper and Puma thin on the hip. Beautiful shot of Telefonica.
Just slightly shimmering here in this fabulous breeze across Table Bay. The V&A Waterfront Import Race, and Telefonica really looking pretty comfortable now. And I hope that's not the commentator's curse for them. But they are being, the boat is being really, they just seem to have a bit of a chemistry on it. You feel it when it sort of, you know, looking at the boat, where the boat's going, and the sort of attitude of them when they came in.
Well, impressive race, to be honest. You know, they nailed the start. They've been fast, and sail selection on that second time downwind was perfect, and they chose the correct side of the course. I think they've sailed a wonderful race.
It's interesting as well, this sort of double pedigree they've got, because if you look at, I mean, we know now that they're hot on offshore, inshore. You know, you look at the Olympic thing, the 3 Olympic girls that they are on board the Telefonica boat, and you think, well, you know, this is it's being able to sail all the moves.
Yeah, it is, Martin. Now, just a bit of an observation. We can see on board Telefonica, there's no second sail on the deck. When we came off Kemper, they actually did have another sail on deck. Whether the New Zealanders are going to try and attack on this next leg, but Telefonica are going to do the broad reach with the sails that they've already got on. But I did notice on board Kemper there was another sail on the foredeck. but it's a solid lead for Telefonica.
That's a good lead.
They've extended. I don't know if you recorded the delta at Mark 5, but Telefonica have extended over Camper. But there is another sail on the deck there, so is Chris Nicholson going to have a go here, or is he happy with second?
Just consolidating his position, because if I've got my numbers right here, then this is the top of the leaderboard is going to remain the same. Telefonica followed by Camper as per the overall lead at the moment. It was 2 points. It'll stretch out a little in Telefonica's favour. I think that, you know, the importance of these import races is, you know, this is why they're throwing things at it, because
well, at the end
it could be all about this.
By the time they get back to Europe in what, May or June, these inshore points, if you accumulate them all, actually could be a big deal. So they are important races.
32 seconds there, the
Abu Dhabi.
The gain of Telefonica over Camper. Abu Dhabi.
You'd have to think 32 seconds on a broad reach there and back should be safe. As Abu Dhabi come up around the mark. Not seeing any action on Camper. I think that sail is on the deck, but doesn't look like they've deployed.
Lovely spectator fleet out here on Table Bay. They'll love it. A great sailing heritage in this, particularly in Cape Town. We know that it's produced some terrific sailors, and of course, you know, this race, you know, the Around the World race in one form or another has been coming here since 1973, and this is comparatively, you know, compared with the old days, to be able to see all these boats in a race like this. It's a terrific idea that Volvo have produced.
It's a fantastic idea
to have these imports, because you can really see what these boats can do. And of course, this place with Table Mountain in the background, 20 knots, 25 knots thundering across here. It's just picture perfect, couldn't be better. What a fantastic advert for the sport.
It's certainly a delight to wake up this morning and think, oh, we've got good breeze and it's clear, and the images that are going out are going to look fantastic. Great advert for the sport.
Kenny, are you, sorry, Jerry, are you back with us? No, still no Jerry. Everybody's enjoying being out there, though. I mean, he was talking about the Corinthian days of, you know, the old boats where they'd disappear and you wouldn't hear from them, and now we look at...
Martin, I was just sorry to jump in, just a little chuckle to myself there. On Telefonica, Andrew Cape, you know, who's the navigator who really got every move on leg one.
Capey.
he's probably one of the older guys on board. What's he doing? He's grinding. But
well, it's all hands, isn't it?
Capey's a great navigator, and he certainly got leg one right, but there's no egos. Come out for, so there's Andrew Cape there with the cap on the aft pedestal. He's the navigator, and I think he can take a lot of credit for fabulous effort in leg one.
Well, it was a question of sticking to your guns, wasn't it? This is your game
But
plan,
I do chuckle that he's grinding today. I think that's hilarious. I have a word to him tonight. He'll have a wry comment, I'm sure.
Okay, Telefonica leading the V&A Waterfront import race, ahead of Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, followed by Puma, powered by Berg Propulsion. That's your top three as this race gets into its closing stages now, and it's in terms of the breeze, it's been everything we could have wished for here.
This is the last mark as Telefonica come in. I think this will be mark 7, and Telefonica just get set up to come round the Volvo Ocean Race yellow marker buoy. So Telefonica is tack complete as they now head back towards the finish. And that's a solid lead.
I wonder how much they've learned out of all the other Telefonicas. I mean, you know, the information, the experience is handed down from boat to boat. Long time Spanish commitment to this through Telefonica, paying dividends.
Yes, and very well run. Pedro Campos, team leader. I mean, Pedro's done America's Cup. He's obviously running these Volvo campaigns, and very much a Spanish flavour. Great sailors. As Camper now come up. And Camper have actually hoisted. It's like a reaching sail. We'll just watch this one develop. So Camper come around the mark. We can see there's a code 0 being hoisted. As Puma have come at Camper.
Look at the body language on Ken Reid. That's saying hunt, the Puma.
He'll be pleased, you know, back in the game.
Back in the game.
I mean, only a few days ago she was sitting on a ship 2,000 miles away without a mast. Here they are pushing for second place.
Okay. Jerry, are you back with us now?
Can you hear me now?
We can indeed. Now that's pretty interesting. Puma catching up a fair bit on Camper.
Yeah, Camper. They've got a. I see Camper's deployed a furling sail, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go on this leg. It's not over till it's over, and obviously Puma's going to push hard.
Yeah, it looks like Camper might have deployed a 0, code 0, and Groupama have also got a sail on a foil, furled up there, so they'll deploy, so they'll be code 0s. Just would indicate that the wind has come a little bit aft and got a little bit lighter. And
yeah, that's correct, Peter.
Well, this is going to be interesting now. The battle for first looks like it's done and dusted. There's Telefonica heading towards the close of the race, and there's Camper. Well, they've put up that other sail, I guess, to try and ward off Puma.
Well, yeah, but they'll be fully powered up though, and I'm just looking out towards Telefonica. They're laying through to the committee boat end of the finishing line, and they got such a solid lead. No issue for Telefonica. The race really will be for second place between Camper and Puma. Puma have come back at Camper. Sail selection again will be. What does it look like, Jerry? Is the code 0 working out?
Yeah, right now Camper's they've put their bow down because they're in a big puff and they've got a lot of pressure on them. The question is they'll have to furl that thing up to get to the line at some point.
We're on board now with Telefonica. This is the overall, at the moment, series leader of the Volvo Ocean Race. They're closing in on the finish, and this has been an absolutely terrific display by Iker Martinez. Last in Alicante, and there's the cheering going up for first in the V&A Waterfront import race. And you can understand, fantastic race by Telefonica, and they haven't put a foot wrong. Great start, surrendered the lead briefly, got it back, and have never let it go since. Terrific performance here from Iker Martinez and his Spanish boat. Telefonica take out the V&A Waterfront import race here in Cape Town in Table Bay.
Yeah, Martin, Shabby and Ika, those two are like bonded at the hip, both with that 2011 ISAF Sailor of the Year award. They're showing that this is normal procedure for them.
Second place now, Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, and they charge across the line, hotly pursued by Ken Reid on Puma, powered by Berg Propulsion. And there's Camper, that huge bow wave coming off as they come across the line. Second place sewn up for the team that is currently running second in the Volvo Ocean Race overall. So some satisfaction there. Couldn't quite get up onto the top of the podium, but it's another podium place for Camper and Emirates Team New Zealand. I guess there'll be some disappointment, but it would be very measured on board Puma, you know, having had the lead.
Oh, I think, yeah, but Puma have shown enough. Obviously, they're fast. And, yeah, they did have the lead, but they just were pretty conservative on that second downwind under Jenica. They didn't quite get the same sails on as the other boats. But, Martin, more importantly, Puma showed that they're a fast boat. The new master success as Groupama comes over the line.
There you go, Groupama now, they close out 5th place, and here's our finish order at the moment. Eco Martinez with Telefonica, Camper and Emirates Team New Zealand, Chris Nicholson, then Puma powered by Berg Propulsion, Kenny Reid, Ian Walker, Abu Dhabi in 4th, and then Frank Camus on 5th, with Sanya about to bring up the closing scenario here. Great work by Ike Martinez. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that. Well, you could see how thrilled they were, because they were whooping and hooping, and that's just great for our series leaders in this amazing, iconic place. But I guess as much as anything else, there'd be some sighs of relief that you know, they've actually got around. They're all 6 boats are still intact. Nobody smacked into anybody, and it's been you know,
well,
perfect.
I think it's very relevant, Martin. You know, in the end, these guys have got such a short turnaround before the start of the race tomorrow. They can't afford to break anything major, and it's Telefonica that really did the business.
Okay, let's see. We're going to try and get a word with Ike Martinez if we possibly can, and we're just lining up the gear to do so. As this has got great lines, haven't they? I mean, you know, a lot of people looked at these boats and thought they looked a bit brutal, but fast is beautiful, and there's no doubt that these boats sure are quick. This one in particular, because they've sailed beautifully. Ike Martinez, are you able to hear us there yet? Ike Martinez? Ike? No, we're still not quite getting through. We're just trying to get a link up to have a chat with him. Here we are on board. Here he is now. Ike Martinez, are you hearing us there? No, I don't think he's been hearing us yet. Oh, they've got the champagne out, that's why. Well, that's probably drowned the comms, who would know, but the champagne moment on board, everybody getting a bit of a splash, and that's nice to see that it's not all being wasted. On board with Telefonica, we're looking for, if we can, to get a chat with the victorious skipper, as the champagne is passed around from crew to crew. Ike, are you hearing us there? Won't help, but we've got a chopper on board. It'd be very hard to hear. He's hearing us now, but I don't know if my voice can get over the helicopter. Okay, no luck there at the moment. Let's see if we can maybe go to Chris Nicholson on board Camper with Emirates Team New Zealand. Nico, are you hearing us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, congratulations, second spot. Sorry, with the helicopter there. How does second spot suit you?
Yeah, second spot's good. Unfortunately for us, we had the wrong boat win the race, so that puts us a little further behind the lead on points. But you know, like same deal as finishing League One. We're pretty happy with the points for second. You know, like the start cost us because after the start I thought we had a pretty nice march on through the fleet. So had my hat off to all the guys on board today. Crew work wise, it was really nice work. We had some high pressure manoeuvres, and they come through really nicely.
Now with this sort of inshore racing, you were presumably quite relieved as well that you've come through unscathed.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like literally as soon as we hit the dock, we'll be focusing on offshore. So the switch is flicked. We're going offshore now up to Abu Dhabi. So I'm actually really looking forward to this offshore leg to, you know, I think this boat and this team has enormous potential, and we'll have a chance to prove it.
Did you learn anything from today, do you think?
Start a little better than what we did. You know, like it's all. You know, we said before, it's all the simple stuff, and you know, we had great communication on board, and you know, like we're close. We're very, very close, but that's what separates the good from the bad in the end. And you know, we're going to keep chipping away.
Good luck, and thanks for talking to us, Nico, and enjoy your one more sleep if you like before it starts offshore.
Yeah, no problem at all. Cheers.
Chris Nicholson there, and I think we're going to try and switch across to Kenny Reid. Ken, are you hearing us?
Yeah, I got you, yeah.
Ken Reid, it's a podium. You're still on the podium. I imagine that having got there, you feel a bit sick though about losing the lead that you built up so well.
Yeah, we blew our kite up at that leeward mark, so we couldn't use our asymmetric on that second run, and we had to take a bit of a chance because of it, because we knew we were going to be a bit off the pace, and it didn't work. So a bit unlucky there, but you know, just good to be racing again, I think.
So Ken, the positives though, looked like you had, you know, your new mast, the boat looked very nice, you had good speed upwind.
Yeah, can't complain. Boat did its part today. I think we might have let the boat down a little bit. You know, these things happen. I guess I was telling the world a fib that we'd be able to nice and back it off and just kind of get around the track today. That very clearly was not an option. So, hey, we live to fight another day. We're really happy with getting on the podium and you know, start the leg tomorrow.
Now I was saying to Chris Nicholson before that the importance of coming through unscathed, there'd be a few sighs of relief on that score.
That is 100% right. You know, we got a couple little issues, but nothing major. Boat's in good shape, we think, and we'll have a good check over tonight, but we're pretty sure we're going to be 100% tomorrow.
Okay, another same question that I asked Nico. What have you learned today?
Don't blow the spinnaker up at the leeward mark. And you know, that was probably my fault. I saw a little opening. Eaker gave us a little opening down there. I should have done more of a bear away, and we had probably a little too much pressure in the kite, so I put my hand up for that one. But I probably got a hair greedy there, you know.
Does that affect anything sales-wise in terms of going into the restart tomorrow?
No, those sails, all the colored kites you see on all the different boats are specifically for import racing, so they actually don't even go offshore with us, so we should be fine.
So your wardrobe's safe and you're ready to go tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
yep.
We wish you well on it. Cheers, Kenny.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, now let's see if we can go to Frank Camos on Group Armour. Are you there, Frank?
Good, and you?
Now, not exactly what you had in mind, but at least you're around in one piece and no breakages or anything.
Yeah, we finished in good shape. The race was very tight, but for sure we are not happy with the 5th place, but it's not so bad. We did some good maneuvers, good call as well, but the other guys was stronger today, but we improved something here on board and we are happy.
What could you have done differently?
I think the result is the start result. Our strategy was to stay in the leeward of the fleet at the start. I think it was wrong, and because there was more wind on the starboard of the first leg, and after that there was nothing to do. It was very hard to overtake the others because on the ley line we were just behind the others, and it was very hard to overtake, so we finished in the same position that the first bottom line.
Okay, well look, we wish you well with your preparations for tomorrow. The boat in good shape.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cheers. That's Frank Camos there on Group Armour. Smiling a little bit of adversity, given that they didn't quite have the race that they were looking for. Now, Ian Walker on Abu Dhabi. Ian Walker, Ken Reid said he was going to try, he admitted to being conservative. You didn't look like you were being at all, but a bit of a disappointment that you seemed to have some pace, but then, you know, you just slipped off the podium at the end there.
Well, no, we sort of held our position right through the race. The race was largely decided on the start. We decided to start near the pin, thinking we'd lay the leeward mark and not have time for it jibe. So the other guys took a different decision. Wind softened a bit, so you know they made the right call. But no, it was a good race.
Okay, now crucially, you've come through this unscathed.
Yeah, no, I think the most noticeable thing for me, I thought the whole fleet sailed well. If you told me that all the boats were going to get around the course and in that wind speed and get the spinners down around the leeward mark and pack them in time for a second hoist. And it's not like we've done a lot of this before on these short courses with downwind starts. So I think the whole fleet sailed well, and if anybody had made a mistake, we were ready to capitalise, but there weren't any.
Well, that says a lot about the fleet. I mean, how hard is it when you've got so few people with so much to do?
Well, it's very hard. You know, it's pretty much non-stop winding, whether it's the dagboards, the halyards, the sheets. And of course, the more you can simplify things, then the easier you can make it for yourself. But that involves good tactical decision making. So it's very hard on the guys, but it's what they've trained for. So I'm sure they'll be fine tomorrow.
Now, Ian, you've got a new rig in the boat. It looks okay. You're happy with the performance? Certainly from here, you look to have good speed.
Okay, we can hear the blip, blip, blip. We've lost Ian on board Abu Dhabi there, and well, there's this amazing backdrop that we keep talking about. It is just so awesome. Table Mountain, Devil's Peak on the left, and that's been our amazing playground today here on Table Bay. And this is the V&A Waterfront Import Race results. Ike Martina driving Telefonica into the lead. Taking all 6 points. Chris Nicholson, camper with Emirates Team New Zealand, second, gets the 5 points, and Ken Reid significantly on the scoreboard again with those 4 incredibly valuable points for them, and a podium position as well to enjoy some champagne. Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing, and then Groupama and Sanya. So this is the overall standings now, and Team Telefonica increased their lead by just the 1 point, but look how close it is still up at the top between Team Telefonica and camper with Emirates Team New Zealand. Groupama sailing team, well, they're still solidly in third because, of course, those other boats still paying so hard for having lost out on the first leg of this Volvo Ocean Race. Mike Sanderson there, well, he might have hoped for a little bit of a podium, but it wasn't to be today. Not really the conditions that they wanted. Something like Fluky would have suited them better than this gorgeous solid breeze that we've enjoyed here on Table Bay.
Well, you might see that, Martin, when we go to the import race and looking ahead for Abu Dhabi. I wouldn't mind betting it could be light and fluky there, and watch out for Sanya.
Yeah, we've seen a fair amount of that in the...
But it's been brilliant here, Martin. I think what's been provided today with fantastic conditions here in Cape Town, and the backdrop of Cape Town and the stadium, that wonderful Cape Town football stadium where the World Cup was held, and of course Table Mountain. It's just been fabulous, and coupled with that, I thought we saw some interesting racing, and certainly the top 3 boats are very, very even in terms of performance.
Okay, Jerry, are you still with us?
I get a signal now?
Yeah, we can hear Jerry. We're just looking at an amazing picture of the Cape Town Stadium, but you're coming in and amongst this melee of boats. Jerry, give us your summation of this race that you've been watching out there.
It was a really a great race from the start. Telefonica, Camper, and Puma, nailed the start. Puma made a critical sail choice that sort of hurt them on that last run, and Telefonica and Camper got back in and passed them. But the thing that really strikes you in racing in Cape Town is you couldn't find a more exotic, wild landscape to sail around in.
Well, this is the replay now, and there we see Telefonica in the lead.
Well, Telefonica heading, this is the replay of the action earlier. Dominant team, they certainly sailed well. They won the start. They were passed on the first leg at the bottom mark by Puma, but then they came back very strong on the next time they went on the down leg with A2s on. I think they thoroughly deserved, Martin, to win this one. They were very dominant, and the boat looks just superb.
I guess also as you watch them flying off with a good lead, we're seeing them, just taking off. I mean, they just moved away really nicely. And I think that we're looking at camper at the moment, but let's see if we can get through to EK Martinez. EK, are you hearing us now?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Well, first of all, we're seeing you as well. First of all, congratulations, and we could see by the expressions of joy on everybody's faces what this means to you to have won here today.
Oh, we're very happy, you know. That was something very important for us. We were fighting this, and even if it's not very important now because it's still a lot to go, we really wanted to do here well after being bad in Alicante to prove ourselves that we can do it well. So that's why we're so happy, I think.
Okay, we're just struggling to hear you a bit. We'll see if we can clear the sound a bit there. EK, what were your tactics going into this? Was that a sort of pre-planned move for you, the way that you started?
Yes, we have a plan, but at the end, we didn't do it because the race course was something different than before. It's for laps.
Really struggling to hear EK Martinez there. That's a shame, because it would be nice if we could get a little bit of cleaner sound. But that's also showing you just how strong the breeze is there. Well, I think maybe we've got a cleaner sound to Mike Paminter on board camper. Mike, are you hearing us?
Yes, loud and clear. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
there he is. We can hear you, and nice to see that you've still got all your teeth there.
Yeah, teeth are back.
The new ones.
Didn't knock them out today, which is a good thing. It's a success.
Were you a little bit worried about it? It's a little bit sensitive?
No, it's all right. I actually spent most of the day downstairs packing spinnakers, so it wasn't too bad.
Now, this has been, what's it been like for you back on home waters, if you like, competing in one of these boats, racing around Table Bay?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's really good to sail, and just sailing around, even pre-start and during the race, you can hear everyone cheering and shouting your name, so it really is something special. As for the race itself, I didn't really get to watch too much of it because you're head down and bum up sort of thing.
How hard is it? I mean, it does appear to be pretty unrelenting, that you're always having to work.
Oh, you're moving the whole time. You're constantly working. I think, to be honest, the only time I actually got to sort of look around and see what was going on was on the second upwind leg when you didn't have to pack a spinnaker. But other than that, pre-start, obviously you're really busy. First run, you're already looking at setting up for the drop of the spinnaker, and then from there upwind in both those first two reaches, I'm downstairs packing a chute, and then you're straight up on deck, plug that in, hoist that, get ready to get it down again. So it's never ending. You're non-stop the whole time.
Now, we're saying, I was South African, obviously, we're talking a touch of home waters here. Growing up, looking to go, become a sailor and what have you. What does it mean to you now to be in a place like this, and racing in a race like this?
Sorry, Martin, can you just repeat that question?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of you being, again, sailing in home waters and what it must feel like for you, having, looked to have a sailing career, and here you are doing it. I mean, how does it feel for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, and it's fantastic. And these boats truly are spectacular boats to sail, as you probably witnessed today.
Now, when I was talking to you yesterday, you say you do get a little bit nervous when you get about to head offshore again. How are you what sort of spirits are you in thinking of heading off tomorrow?
Oh, the boys are in a fantastic mood. I think if Hamish pans around, the guys are being a little bit serious at the moment because we just hoisted another sail. But we're all in such good spirits. It was a good race for us. We felt we sailed relatively simply and well and error-free, which is what you want to do in the boats in one piece. So we're all happy and rearing to go tomorrow. As for the nerves, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll have butterflies and knots in my stomach and all the rest. But there's not much I can do about that.
Well, we wish you well. I guess the thing is to keep calm, take a few deep breaths and enjoy it, and look after those teeth, eh?
Thanks very much. Don't worry, they're coming out in Auckland anyway.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. That's Mike Paminter, and this is the amazing Lion's Head in the foreground. I can't get enough of looking at this, Pete. I think it's just one of those, as I said at the outset of this, an undisappointment where you come in and look at something you've heard so much about and thinking, I wonder what it's really going to be like, and then you clap eyes on it and just go, wow.
Well, it's been a wonderful time here in Cape Town for the import race, and what a wonderful day of great sailing.
It sure has been, and well, I think we now look ahead to tomorrow, where, as I said before, one more sleep, although You have to wonder how any of these guys can sleep at all, knowing what lies ahead of them tomorrow. And we move into that phase now of also waking up at night thinking of those boys out at sea. So the longest, toughest race in the world. Join us tomorrow as the second leg out of Cape Town gets underway.